All right, on today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, the Avs on the ice lose in overtime to Dallas. The series is even at 1. And while there's a lot to talk about of what happened on the ice, most of what's getting talked about is what happened before the game even started. So let's dive into all this. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in, making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciate it. If you want to get in on the conversation, then join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. Chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. We get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and share it on this very podcast. We'll get to our subtext crew a little bit later when they chime in on this game between Dallas and Colorado, which the Avs lose in overtime. Always a heartbreaker when you lose in overtime in the playoffs, because it's just so like there's no like when you lose, there's just like you just have to sit with it. Like and it just it's not like a clock runs out or anything like that. It's just bang, goal scored, everybody goes home, and you're just sitting there dejected.
You know what I hate? You know what I hate is overtime. You know what I hate more than overtime? Overtime with the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, so true. I wish for overtime, it's either just put me out of my misery quickly, just score a goal in like 30 seconds, and that's it. Because just the longer it goes on, the more chances both teams have. And you're like, oh, if you just had that one. And then when you lose it, it's just like all that work. So many years at the academy wasted. So we'll obviously dive a lot into that game, but it would take something huge for us to not start off the top with the actual game when it's the playoffs. But that's what we're going to do today, because although it does, focus on the Avs and the playoffs, it's not actually the game that we're going to start with, because everybody thought we were getting our return of one Gabe Landeskog. You had the injury to Ross Colton, and everything that Coach Bednar was saying was like he was not feeling good. It was just everything was there for the return of Gabe, even down to they took him off of injured reserve. He went out for warmups, C intact on the jersey. The first sheet that they released to the media had him as the start in not, it's different for you know what I mean, not the starting five or anything like that, but you know what I mean, on the roster, on the active roster. And then something changed minutes before the game, and he was moved down to the scratched players, and Miles Wood was moved up to the active players. And there was a few minutes of it's going to happen, and then it just turned. And I again, we're recording this right after. I am sure Jared Bednar was asked about this in his post-game press conference. So when we're done here, I'll go watch that and see what he's got to say. But the emotions were already all over the place before the puck even dropped in this game.
I know everybody was losing their mind, excited, getting ready to have the parade, but until I see 92 hit the ice, after all this time, even with the AHL starts, I can't get hyped until I visually see him. They constantly show like through the game his warm-ups, and then they pan to him and he's in a suit. And I cannot get hyped until I see him in the game. I will, like him coming off LTIR. I knew that was big. There was that rumor that he was going to play in game 1, and it didn't happen. So until I see him on the ice, I understand everybody's excitement for it, but that's the thing that really, you don't want to play like armchair quarterback and like figure out what's going on here, but like what changed in that level. And honestly, at the end of the game, it was probably a wise decision with the way that Dallas was playing. But yeah, I get it.
I mean, Dallas is still going to play that way in game 3.
And I know
So,
it's if this was a Landy call, if this was a Bednar call, it's going to be interesting. But until he hits the ice and he's out there for the anthems, and
mhm.
that Thor-like man is out there on the bench when that puck hits the ice, I will reserve my excitement until I physically see it. I've waited
I
3
get that.
years. I could wait another game.
I get that. I gotta think this is a Bednar call. Because if it is a Landeskog call, now I'm thinking, all right, when is this day going to come? But I everything I was hearing was he wanted to go, and I think this in the end was a Bednar call. I don't know why. I want to listen to his answers as to why. But this is as close as you can get to pulling the rug under everybody. Like there is nothing, like he is right up against it, and there's nothing. There's nothing else that can happen that would be as close as he could return as to what just happened. Because yeah, you can go out and do exactly what he did and take warmups and then not play. That happens all the time. And I think the excitement of seeing him out there. I was where you were with just hearing that he was going out for warmups. For me, like, you're going to the next step. You're beyond me of like, I want to see him out there. Minutes or seconds are running off the clock out there for you. For me, it was the media list of he's in the lineup. To me, that is the final say. I don't really see that happening often where all of a sudden it gets changed unless there's a last second injury to somebody. And let's not think let's hope that's not what it is for this. Let's hope that that's not what it is for this. So,
And I used to take the like minutes before the game, that roster, I used to take that as gospel until the COVID season. And that changed a lot for me. Because you get to see how lenient. You remember we were waiting on, I think it was Jack Johnson, like 8 minutes into the game against Nashville. He was still getting tested in the locker room.
yeah,
And
all this
he was
tests, yep.
and he was listed on the roster and he wasn't there. And ever since that season,
Mm-hmm.
until I see you on the ice, and we saw Matt Duchene traded mid-game. So when I see you on the ice, I know you're there. And if you finish the game with us, I know you're still there.
It's true. So I think another part of this is I'm just wondering if Jared Bednar just really wanted to hold on to this until game 3 and have that moment in front of the home crowd. And not only that, but you don't know where Dallas is with Miro Heiskanen and Jason Robertson. And Heiskanen seems like he is closer to a return than Robertson is. And that maybe there's just some, quarterbacking going on here with Jared Bednar of if Heiskanen is ready to return on game 3, well, we can match that, that lift that your team is going to get. We're going to bring our captain back that same day. So it like negates like all of that excitement. I don't want to say negates it that Dallas wouldn't get excited because they're getting a guy like Miro Heiskanen back. But I'm just saying like, it would be noticeable on the ice for them where what we match it with Gabe Landeskog, bringing him back on home ice, forget it. Like we've taken that momentum back and swung it back to and maybe there's some psychology going on in Jared Bednar's mind with that because you won game 1. And like you want to do for the visiting team is split the season series. Or not the season series. Sorry, you split the first 2 games on the road. And I wonder if the decision would have been different if they lost game 1. You can't say that now. You have no idea. But because you won the first game, okay, now we're playing a little bit with house money here. And let's put Miles Wood out there who, they trust him to an extent. And let's see if we can steal a second game. And if we do, that's even more, then it's going to be just all gravy going from there. But there might be some psychology baked into this as well of, really having that team just lift of his first game back at home. there's something to be said for that. And I wonder how much Bednar's buying into that.
You know what? And I hate to be this guy, but I hope he isn't. Because
I'm with you there. Yeah.
You just lost game 2. And guess what? If Robo or Heiskanen is ready for game 3, you think they care if they're in Ball Arena? Nope. They're going to put out their best roster to win the game. And if Gabe Landeskog was ready to go, you just lost game 2. Probably you really needed those 2 on the road. Like that would have been huge going back to Ball. But
it would have been, but it's tough to say that, Kyle. It's tough to say you needed both those games on the road when you're ahead. It's tough to say that.
But to say you need all games. Like you need every one of those. You need every one of them. And if Gabe Landeskog is ready, you can't save him for that moment. If he wants to come back and play, and if he's going to play, bring him. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to put out your best roster to win the game. I know the moment's going to be wonderful, but I'd rather have a win in game 2 than a 30-second clip we could look at and say, oh, you remember when Landy came back? I'd much rather have a win in Dallas. Just his presence, that lift that you're talking about, probably would have helped push, maybe avoid overtime.
It's a little bit tougher on the road. It is like you would be playing off the crowd. You will be playing off the crowd all of game 3. I think.
Well, if Heiskanen or Robo came back, and if they're ready for game 3, they're going to be playing at Ball Arena.
Sure,
that's going to be huge for them. They don't care where they are. They have playoff games in front of them.
But it's a tough environment to play in. When you're on the road. Sure, it is. And I think that's why they didn't want to do it, because for that very reason, because like you can the team will be lifted, but you don't have that added bonus of 18,000 people behind it too. It's different. It's just a big difference. Like I'm kind of with you on the whole thing of like put your best team out there, and the moment will still be there in game 3, even if you put them in game 2, it will still be there.
I think the Dallas crowd would have actually given some props to Landeskog for starting that game. Congratulations. Like if Miro or Jason come back in game 3, Ball Arena just gets louder and boos. But Dallas, they would actually give a moment and say, hey, congratulations. It's going to be applause around the arena, and then back to the action.
And then move on from it. Right. Yeah. And that's another reason why, because again, like that's what I'm saying. Like for the team, you get that lift, but it kind of subsides a little bit because crowd is not behind you. So you can have that. And if Landeskog does something in that game 3, where even if he gets an assist or something like that, that crescendo just keeps going up and up and up. And that has an effect. It has an effect. I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason Bednar went this route. It wouldn't surprise me if there was some aspect of it that is, but I would kind of understand it, but not agree with it at the same time.
I would much rather win the playoffs than end his documentary in a grand way.
It's true, but it is kind of funny how we're saying like, hey, our best team is putting a guy out there who hasn't played in 3 years. We have no idea what he can do.
You held out for 3 years for something.
It's tough. So I think it's all but guaranteed. I would have to say that he's going to be playing game 3. If he's not playing game 3, are we even going to see him these playoffs? I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see for Wednesday. So, and my sound check does reflect all of this right here. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But we got a game to talk about, obviously. So let's get a first break in. When we come back, we'll talk about this overtime loss from the Avalanche to the Dallas Stars in game number 2. We'll do that next. It's here from wonderful Pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with wonderful Pistachios. It's one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber, better for you, unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. You can get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs protein punch. Just visit wonderfulpistachios.com right now to learn more. All right, sir, let's get into this game. overall, if you can just remove your fandom from this was a entertaining game. Yeah, cover up the shirts.
Everything behind me.
Take all those things. It like this is just what makes the hockey playoffs unmatched. And you had another game, by the way, in California that was a phenomenal game too, which didn't get to watch clearly because this game was on at the same time. But this is just you have to prepare yourself for games like this because they're going to happen. And it's just some good back and forth, goes to overtime, and someone's got to lose. And unfortunately, it was the Avalanche for this game. But I give credit to Dallas because I think they finally showed up.
Yep.
I think they finally arrived. I thought the first period was a good period for the Avs. You got that first goal again. I thought you were playing your game again. I don't want to say you were like in total control, but you were in more control than Dallas was. And then Dallas came out and they started playing in the second and the third and in overtime. But you got the back and forth. You saw Dallas. I said on yesterday's episode, Dallas really wasn't having those extended offensive possessions, cycling just the puck around. They didn't have that in game one. They got it in game two. I thought the Avs did more of the same of what they had in game one. You had a couple breakdowns, and this was a game where Dallas took advantage of that, especially the overtime winner.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be so many guys that want just the positioning of it was just bad by two Avalanche defenders and in close shot. That's just very difficult for Blackwood to save, but a good game. And this is just one of the ones where it's unfortunate that the team you root for is on the downside of it.
Yeah, and it was about midway through the second period. I think it was Josh Manson's penalty. The way the Stars were responding on that power play, I was like, oh God, the Stars are back. This is what I was afraid of going into game two was you're going to get Dallas pushing a little bit more. And again, like I was talking about, you don't want to drop both games at home to start a playoff series. So that team, you started to feel the pressure just a little bit. You go into that first intermission tied up at 1, you know what's on the line. And yeah, Colorado had they got into some penalty trouble. They started getting a little out of control. The physicality, they started letting some chippiness go. Dallas started playing Dallas style. Like they can rough it up. I mean, Jamie Benn's still on that team. So you get in there in the blue paint, they're going to let you know you're not supposed to be here. And the Avs kind of did not give that extra push. Nathan McKinnon got everything started, and you were waiting on that next hero to come up. Like Drury responded exactly how you wanted, LOC, but then you kept waiting for that heroic, and it just wasn't happening. There was a couple defenders that were not part of like that offensive push, but my goodness, it was a good game, but Dallas played a better ending.
Yeah, I liked what the Avalanche, they responded when they gave up the lead. Like a minute later, they got the goal to the equalizer. So you like seeing stuff like that, especially on the road. You had and that was right after a Dallas power play, but Dallas was, like in the second, they were looking really good, and the Avalanche needed to kill off multiple penalties, and they did. And then you get that goal by Logan O'Connor, which was just incredible.
Yeah.
Just Marchment all over his back, and he kind of shields him off. He kind of protects the puck and just goes backhand on Ottinger. Phenomenal goal by Logan O'Connor. When that one happened, that gave them the 3-2 lead going into the third. It was different of like, okay, you feel good that we have a lead. That's exactly what you want going into the third. But man, Dallas just had a really good second period. Seems like they figured it out. And you're expecting more of that in the third, and you got it. But I think, you got the back and forth. I thought the Avs had some really good looks, especially in the first. The Avalanche had really good looks in the first. I was touting Dallas yesterday on how they're so good at not giving you time and space. And the Avs had just some wide open chances where they know that Dallas kind of closes the gap on you quickly. I think the Avs were surprised at how wide open they were on a few chances, and they didn't bury them.
Yep.
They did not bury him, and that's on Ottinger. And because you had some lapses for the Avalanche that Dallas took advantage of. Dallas had lapses that the Avalanche did not. And that could, pretty much was for me the difference in the game. Because and you have to give Ottinger credit because those are some high danger chances, which Dallas does not give up a lot of, and you gotta net those. You have to. But overall, once things got going in that second, it got to the point of the game where it was just like every possession could be something here for both teams. Avalanche going one way, something could happen here. Same thing for Dallas. And that's the excitement of the playoffs is whenever Dallas starts going in their offensive zone, you're thinking in your head, this could be the possession. This could be the possession where it ends. And on the same is true for the Avalanche going the other way. Like this is where we could end it. And it's just Dallas got the better of you, obviously, at the end.
Yeah, Dallas definitely turned up that pressure. And when Dallas started turning up that pressure, yes, and it went even all the way down. Like even the shots in overtime were 8 apiece. Like you ended up almost identical shots all the way through. Like it was even. This is what you wanted, and this is what you expected. The best chance for the Avalanche to win this was in that first period. If they could have buried just some of those shots, we'd have a whole different conversation going out of this game, going back to Colorado. But when Dallas started turning up the heat and really sustaining long drives, like really just cycling and just getting comfortable. Once the Dallas Stars got comfortable, Colorado's shot selection started deteriorating, and you saw just as soon as you touch the puck, just fire it, and there's bodies laying there, and you're going left, right, and wide, and up in the net, and that when that starts happening, that confidence you had in the Avalanche in game one, you're just like, maybe they could get lucky. But you felt it starting to shift, especially late in that third. You just hope to survive to get to overtime, and you almost went a full overtime period. And it was just a breakdown is what ended it.
And you had a power play. You had a power play at the end of the third that carried over into like 30 seconds or so carried into overtime. But, stuff like that. It's just, if it's a regular season, you're like, okay, not ideal, but learn from it and move on. When it's the playoffs, those are the ones where you have to get strict on not acceptable.
Yep.
You got a chance to put that away. You're gifted that penalty. I didn't think it was so bad on Mikko Rantanen. Is it a penalty? Sure. Do you call that with less than 2 minutes left in the playoffs? I would be mad if they did call that against the Avalanche. But I guess, one of the by the letter of the law, it's penalty. But, you could go through every single game and be like, that wasn't, whatever.
I'm just glad he got his name on an infographic in the series.
Yeah, he has been quiet. Mikko Rantanen did have a couple opportunities later in the game, but, you had 2.5 periods of like, where's Mikko?
Yeah.
And, he finally did get a couple shots on net, but it's been a grind for him. It really has been a grind for him. For Logan O'Connor, for my money, he's been one of the best players for the Avs in these 2 games.
The best.
Yeah. Him and you can throw Mackenzie Blackwood in there too, even in a loss. I know, some people are going to not like that he gave up 4 goals, but difficult shots to stop in this one for him. I think he's been fantastic, but Logan O'Connor's been great.
Yeah.
Great on both ends of the ice.
Back-to-back 2-point nights. Like this is what you want to see. And this goes back to coming into the playoffs. We were talking about it was a subtext question. Jonathan Drouin's contract status. Like, what do you want to do? This is the playoff mode that we're talking about. LOC playoff. Like this is another level. Drouin, invisible, ghost. But LOC, he has taken his play and he has, 2 points and this last goal, it's highlight reel stuff. Like an incredible goal. And you want to see more of this. This is why LOC is a lot of people's fan favorite. And he has been stellar so far.
Some guys that I need to see a little bit more from. Marty Nashis. I don't feel like he's playing poorly in that, like, he's not turning the puck over. He's not making bad decisions. He's just not engaging himself. He's always going to be skating around and he's always doing that, but he doesn't seem to be facilitating much of anything. So I just want to see him be a little bit more active offensively. Just go impose your will, dude. Like, you have the offensive ability, you have the speed. Dallas struggles against speed, so you got it. You're on Nathan McKinnon level of speed. So I just want to see him be a little bit more aggressive offensively. And the other one, and this is going to just feed right into the "I told you so" crowd. Sam Girard did not look good to me.
Nope.
In this game, he looked like frustrated. He looked unsure of himself. I don't know. Like, we were kind of joking on social media about the ice in Dallas. We were doing it yesterday after in that episode, and then it seemed like it got worse in today's game. And I even put up on social media, like, maybe that was another reason why they didn't play Gabe Landeskog, because this ice is horrible. People are just tripping all over the place. It was worse than game one. It was terrible. I hope that's not why Sam Girard played a poor game, but I would almost consider, you got a guy sitting those first two games in Sam Malinsky. Is this a move that you make? I think a lot of people are assuming, like, bring Sam Malinsky in, swap him out for Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson in this field has been just fine. Sam Girard is struggling.
Yeah.
So you either keep riding with that, or give Sam Malinsky a shot. And do you swap him out for Sam Girard? And if that happens, we're having a lot of conversations in the offseason, Kyle, about this defensive core.
And I completely agree. I'm glad you brought up Natchez, Drouin. Those are my two forwards that, hey, wake up. We need you. And Sam Girard and Josh Manson. He's on that razor edge, and he did this last year in the playoff. And this is what he does. He's either incredible or just messing up and getting in the penalty box. There is no middle game with Josh Manson, and we're on the bad side of that, and he's got to clean it up, because you cannot game one, that was the only goal that Dallas got, was on the power play. They capitalized again. You cannot put Dallas on the advantage. You just can't. And you've got to just calm it down just a little bit. We need your presence out there. You're not going to help us in the penalty box.
Yeah, I'm over saying power plays are going to be at a premium in this series, because they're what were the Avalanche? They one for where's my thing here?
One for three. Yeah, one for three.
And then the Stars were 1 for 4. So penalties are happening.
Yep.
In this series. So you got to take advantage of them. So they are what they are. All right. We got some more to do with this game. We'll talk about now. It shifts to Colorado. So we'll touch on that, and we'll get to, obviously, our subtext people and our sound check. All that next. Let's hear from FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are also here. They are here, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, how's the Knicks doing? I heard they lost. They had a score on the bottom of ESPN.
Yeah, they lost the Detroit Pistons.
Which I thought the Pistons were like a terrible team.
They were, but they got into the playoffs.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, Cinderella story.
I guess good for them.
Yeah. They spotted them one.
I don't care. And FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the NBA action. And right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you get $250 in bonus bets, Kyle. $250. That is if your $5 bet wins. So don't miss out. Head over to FanDuel.com. Claim your $250 bonus bet today. If your first $5 bet wins, go bet on the Knicks. They're taking the whole thing.
You betcha.
It's going to happen. All right. So shift back to Colorado, and we talked about the Landeskog thing. I just feel like it needs to happen. It needs to happen. You get the whole thing of you just get the endorphin high that this team will be on for the entirety of that game. We talked about the Knicks, and that's what's his name who came back. I keep blinking on his name. Back in the 70s, the guy who it wasn't Bernard King. I don't remember who it was. But he came back in the finals, and it's going to be similar to that. But so what are we thinking now of what? Because this is the chess match that goes on in NHL playoffs. Is Colorado just did a lot of more of the same, which won them game one. You were trending towards, you had an opportunity to win game 2, but now you're the team that needs to maybe tighten up a couple things here and there. But you don't need these wholesale changes on what you're doing. You're obviously in these games. Overtime, anything is possible. What are we thinking? Going back to Colorado.
Yeah, and you also don't want to waste too much of your time and energy with the anticipation of the Landeskog return. It'll happen when it happens, but you need to get focused on it's a split series now, and you're back. Don't be Dallas. Don't start dropping games of ball. That's what, take advantage of it being back at Ball Arena, and and for lack of a better term, do all the small things. Like, you have to get back to better shot selection. You have to maximize your opportunities with the man advantage. You have to stay out of the box. Don't give in to physicality. Stay on your man defense. Just do all the easy just things that you have done since junior days of hockey. Don't overcomplicate it. Just play simple hockey, and you can dictate the flow of the game, which benefited you in game 1. You could do that again in game 3. Just focus on the small things, correct those, and everything will get much easier.
I had to look it up. It was Willis Reed, by the way, for the New York Knicks. I feel good about how this series is going for the Avs. I don't feel like you need to just change a ton of things. I have one comment here from Daniel on subtext. Said Avs passed up on too many shots. They're inflicted with the pretty pass play bug. Cannot shake it off. I saw it once from not Landeskog. That'd be nice. From Nathan McKinnon. The one sticks out in my head where I'm like, oh man, you're way too close to be passing that up. He tried to go cross ice, and that's what it is. But I don't think overall. I think the Avs are see shot, take shot right now.
You know who I saw do that 4 times? Mikko Rantanen. He would not take a shot. They could have parted like the Red Sea. Mikko was not going to take a shot. I saw him. He had 3 or 4 just open, like normal Mikko shots, would pass it right up. I was absolutely confounded.
Yeah. Daniel also says the second line is, and he puts in caps, not working. Have to make adjustments, unsustainable. Again, I don't think the third line was working in this game.
No.
And that's your Miles Wood line. So that kind of explains that one away. But I'm with you in that. I like the second line. Do they need to play better? Sure. Do I think you need to blow it up? No. I think you just get guys, step it up. Give him the opportunity to step it up, because Drouin can do it. I liked how Nichushkin played. I thought he played a very heavy game. He played a very hard, heavy game. And I thought Brock Nelson was mixing it up a little bit more in this game. I thought I think Nelson needs to be a little bit quicker with the decision making.
Yeah.
He can't hold on to the puck too long because he's getting it poked away from him. Know where your guy is, find your guy, hit him. But I get what Daniel's saying, and there's going to be frustration after a loss like this. But I don't want to dive too much into that, because how many shots they have in overtime? 8, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. And they had 8 too. So you're one of those 8 shots away from winning this game. And are we still talking about the same thing if they win the game? I don't know. But I'm not down on the second line as much as maybe other people are.
No, I'll say the quiet part out loud for Daniel. Nichushkin needs to step it up in the worst way.
I thought he was okay, man. I didn't think he was terrible.
He's the one that, and Charlie Coyle was a -3.
He was quiet. That line struggled.
And Kiviranta was a -1. He was very Manson-ish tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to see those guys step it up a little bit. But other than that, Nuke, you would expect. I haven't seen a Nuke type performance. He has also been a shell of himself. But I'm not hating on the entire second line. But I do know number 13 needs to step it up.
He needs to step it up and get some point production going here for sure. But it's not for a lack of trying. He is forechecking hard. He is out there. He is playing his game. Just the points aren't coming right now. He's maybe hitting a little bit of a wall in that aspect. But And that's for that whole line. So that's what I'm saying. Like, sure. Are they playing up to their ability for this game? No, for game. I thought they played better. Oddly enough, I feel they played better in this game than they did than the first game.
Yeah.
I do. That's not saying like it's night and day. I'm just saying like they played a little bit better, I felt, in this game. But do they need to play better as a unit? Definitely. Definitely. Because if you can make it difficult on Dallas for your first line, second line are just clicking and you're rolling those two lines, then obviously that just is better for everybody. But I'm going to give them that opportunity to, and I know you really shouldn't do it in the playoffs because, we're messing with games here. And if you lose them, you're behind the 8 ball. But I have faith in those guys. I do. I want to bring up because you were mentioning the stats earlier. Maybe I wanted to get to this and how like this is what we're going to see this series, just how even this is. Shots on goal, Avs, all the numbers. I'll say the Avs first, 37-39. Your hits, remember how the Avs had 30 the last game, and that's a lot. Both teams had 45 each in this game. Block shots 18-19, giveaways 17-15, takeaways 11-7. So this, like I said, now that the Stars kind of maybe like woke up, quote unquote, I feel like now our series has begun.
Yeah.
Now it's begun. So more subtext, people. We got Madam Battleaxe here. She says, can I say it, please? The absolute shenanigans that happened in this game was just crap. Blackwood was still amazing. He really did great. I just cannot understand why the puck was just sitting there and the Avs did not clear it. I think she's talking about the overtime one. I think they were trying. They were just
out of position.
Behind. They were just too far behind. Dallas was closer, Madam Battleaxe. That's the long and the short of it. Also, the power play could have won the game. We mentioned that. Let's get back to ball and play our game and stay out of the box.
Yep.
And her sound check, because she has been shook all night long, she's going, you shook me all night long, from the AC/DC.
I almost went AC/DC tonight.
Did you really?
How about that?
All right. Well, now you have piqued my interest, and we'll get to that in a minute. Tanner says, need some middle line scoring on lines 2 and 3. 1 and 4 showing up. I thought the fourth line was better than the first line. Fourth line was phenomenal. If I'm ranking the lines, it would be 4-1, 2-3.
Yep.
And for my 4 lines for this game. We got too conservative, too early. Let this one slip. Overall, I think we have been the better team so far. Just keep playing our game. The Landy pop better have us win the home games. Avs in 6 is what Tanner says.
I could see that. I could see that in 6. Yeah.
Could be. Craig says, well, this is why I hate the jitters. That's the Dallas Stars I was expecting. The Stars were forcing the Avs to take too many bad shots while also forcing them to chip and chase. They weren't even chipping and chasing. They were chipping and dipping and getting off, which is fine.
They were gaining the red line and just dumping it.
They were, yeah. But at the same time, like because when you do that and the other team is pressing, like you're going to be given some opportunities a couple times too. And the Avs did get those in the third. While they were just, like I said, like chipping and dipping, there were moments where they had some breakaways and couldn't. I was just waiting. We got that extra goal with the Taves goal in game 1.
Yep.
That just relieved the stress. And I was hoping that would happen in this game, but clearly it didn't happen. So says the guys need to regroup with Bednar to work on a new plan. It's off to Denver now, so hopefully the fans will give the Avs an edge. Maybe we will get to see Captain Landy for game 3 there as well. Yeah, I think that's going to happen. So
no comment.
There's going to be frustration, and there's always going to be frustration following a loss in the playoffs, but you're going to lose playoff games, people. You're not going to sweep every single round. And while I understand, like, yeah, you do need to make some adjustments. I don't feel like we're at the point of wholesale changes yet. The exception of thinking about what I was talking about before, that Malinsky-Girard thing. Would they go that far? I don't think so. I think that's too big of a change for Jared Bednar, but maybe it's in the back of his head. I don't know. Just saying.
Or Cale Makar could wake up. That'd be cool too.
Like it's funny because he was kind of quiet for like the first 50-60% of this game. And then he kind of arrived a little bit and was a little bit more active and throwing pucks on net. But for like the first almost 2 periods, I'm like, where's Cale? He's not flying around like he usually does.
He was a ghost in game 1 and continued in game 2. Like, I want to see him wake up a little bit.
It's true. So, I got all the faith that these guys can do that. So we'll see for game 3. All right, let's get to our sound check. This is where Kyle and I pick a song each that summarized the most recent game. Put these songs up on a playlist over on Spotify where you can follow along. Just search for LOA Soundcheck. Volume number 4 is what these are on. So what do you got for this one, sir?
Going with a good band from back in my day.
Okay.
Gob. We're going.
Yeah.
Give up the grudge.
Okay.
It's the
give up the grudge. I love
that. Give it, like, seriously, like, let's let the Miko thing go away. Miko's a ghost. Like, let's give up this like extra physicality stuff, the Josh Manson stuff. They took you out of your game. Like, you had the opportunity to put this game away in the first. You gave in to that physicality in the second. Just get back to Avalanche hockey. Give up this little extracurricular. You're not Dallas. You'll never be Dallas. Don't try to play Dallas hockey. Mm-hmm. Play Colorado Avalanche hockey. Give up the grudge.
All right. I like that. That's a creative one, sir. But I like that. There's one song by Gob. What's their big song?
I Hear You Calling.
Is that? Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. But I like your selection a lot better. So
I think it's on the same album too.
Is it? All right.
Foot and mouth disease. Yeah.
Okay. Man, you're gonna make me go back and listen to that album. All right. This is what we do for this. This is why we do it. I kind of tip my hand if you follow over on X. And I said, I think I already had my sound check before the puck is even dropped. There's all this stuff going on with the Gabe Landeskog stuff before. It just made me like, people were just like dialed into that, and I get it. So I threw up. I think I said that. I said I think I had my sound check already picked, and I had a picture of the one John Lennon up, and that means I went with his song "Mind Games." Because I think there's a little bit of that going on here. And one thing that somebody put up something after the game was even over that I didn't even really think of, like, how much did the players know of this? Like, I really hope like they knew, or did even Landeskog know? Like, was this all a plan? Was this the whole thing a plan of like, yeah, you're going to go out and take warm-ups, but we're not going to play you today? Because if they didn't know, and Landeskog didn't know, like there's some mind stuff going on for those players who thought they were pretty sure they're going to be playing with their captain for the first time in 3 years, and then they're not. So the more I was thinking about it throughout the game, and then I saw somebody post about that, I'm like, this is maybe just the plan. This was the plan. You're going to go take warm-ups today, but you're not going to play. We'll get everybody hyped up, and out you come for game 3. It's all mind games, dude. All of it. And it affects the Avalanche, and it affects the Stars, and it affects both their fan bases.
I don't like it.
There you go. You cannot like it, but that's why we're behind the mic and not behind the bench.
I just watched WrestleMania. Don't stage any more moments. Like, get to playing hockey. Like, we're going to start them. Oh, no, we're not. Like, come on. Just play the game.
I know. Well, we'll see where that goes. So we're gonna. I don't know what's going on for tomorrow. This is a late night for Kyle and I, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. We might let this one marinate for a day. But if anything happens big, we will jump on and record. So, but if nothing else, we'll definitely be back after game 3. So make sure you tune into that. But for this, thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. He's Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. It's the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys later. And you made it through another 24 hours. Sidney Crosby is that much closer to being with the Colorado Avalanche.
No, he's not. He's asleep.
too late for him too in his old age.